The notification from my banking app made my stomach clench. Another transfer from my account to Bella's, $4,000. My third emergency bailout this month, and it was only the 15th. I'm Eliza, and I've spent the last 6 years being an ATM disguised as a big sister. Thanks, sis, you're literally a lifesaver, Bella's text popped up seconds later. No explanation needed, apparently. Not that I expected one anymore. I tucked my phone away and grabbed my apron. The dinner rush at Mario's was starting, and tips weren't going to earn themselves. Between this waitressing gig, my morning tutoring sessions, and weekend data entry work, I was barely keeping up with their demands. Table 6 needs their check, Maria called out as I tied my apron. And your sister called the restaurant phone again. Something about needing to talk about tuition? I forced a smile. Thanks, I'll handle it. The evening blur of orders, plates, and forced pleasantries carried me through until closing. My feet ached, but I still had to stop by my parents' house. Mom had texted about urgent family matters, code for another financial crisis that somehow became my responsibility. The porch light was on when I arrived, illuminating their new 75-inch TV through the window. I stopped dead in my tracks. "Isn't it gorgeous?" Mom gushed as I walked in. "Your father found such a deal. Only $2,000. My throat tightened. $2,000? That's the money I sent for my professional certification course. Oh, honey, Mom waved dismissively. You don't need more certificates. You're doing fine with your jobs. 3 jobs, Mom. 3 jobs to support everyone else's wants. Don't be dramatic. She rolled her eyes. Besides, Bella needs that money more. She's planning a trip to Ibiza with her study group. Very important networking opportunity. I sank onto their couch, the one I'd also paid for. Bella's changed her major 4 times. She's been in college for 6 years. She's finding herself, Mom snapped. Unlike some people who never had any ambition beyond being practical. The front door opened and Bella breezed in wearing new designer clothes. Eliza! Perfect timing. Can you transfer another 1,000? The Ibiza deposit is due tomorrow. I can't. My voice cracked. I have nothing left. That course was my chance to finally... God, you're so selfish, Bella interrupted. I need this trip for my career. Dad, tell her. Dad didn't look up from his newspaper. He never did. I was thinking, I said quietly, maybe I could apply for that editorial position in Amsterdam. They provide training and... Mum's laugh cut through me like glass. Amsterdam? You! Don't be ridiculous. You have responsibilities here. What about my life? I whispered. My dreams? Your sister is the one with real potential, Mom said firmly. You're good at taking care of things. That's your role. Bella flopped onto the couch beside me, scrolling through vacation photos on her phone. Thanks for understanding, sis. You always come through. I drove home in a daze, their words echoing in my head. In my tiny studio apartment, the only thing I could afford after supporting their mortgage, I lay in bed staring at the water stains on my ceiling. My phone buzzed. Another text from Bella. Hey, forgot to mention, could you cover my car payment too? Love you. Something snapped inside me. 6 years of sacrifices, of putting my life on hold, of watching them spend my money while my own dreams collected dust. What if I just stopped? I got up and opened my laptop. My hands shook as I typed how to open an offshore bank account into the search bar, then jobs in Amsterdam, then how to disappear legally. The sun was rising when I finally closed my laptop. I had a plan. It would take time, patience, and every ounce of courage I'd never known I had. But for the first time in years, I felt something other than resignation. I picked up my phone and opened my banking app one last time. Instead of another transfer to Bella, I created a new account, one they'd never know about. My name is Eliza, and I've spent 6 years being the family ATM. But not anymore. Sometimes the biggest act of self-love is simply walking away. The The next morning I opened a new bank account under a different name, and that was just the beginning. 3 months, that's how long it took to orchestrate my disappearance. Your credit score is excellent, the bank manager said, reviewing my application. Most people your age don't have such solid financial history. I smiled tightly, remembering all the overtime shifts that built that credit score. I'd like to keep the new account completely separate from my existing ones. Of course, he typed something into his computer. And you said this is for overseas relocation? Yes, Amsterdam. Each paycheck now split between my visible account, the one they drained regularly, and my secret one. I kept just enough in the visible account to avoid suspicion. The rest went into my escape fund. Eliza, Mum's voice crackled through my phone during my lunch break. The gardener says you haven't paid him this month. You're gardener, Mum, and I told you I couldn't cover extras anymore. But what will the neighbours think? The lawn looks terrible. I hung up and opened my laptop, checking my application status for the editorial position in Amsterdam. The interview was scheduled for next week video call, thankfully. The memories kept flooding back as I prepared. Age 12, winning the state writing competition. That's nice, dear, Mom had said, barely looking up. But Bella just made cheerleader. Age 16, getting a full scholarship offer. You'll stay local, Dad had decided. Bella needs you here to help with her homework. Age 21, graduating summa cum laude while working 2 jobs. They'd skipped the ceremony. Bella had a dance recital. The interview went better than I'd dreamed. Your editing samples are impressive, the hiring manager said. When can you start? I need 6 weeks to arrange the move, I replied, heart pounding. Perfect. We'll send the contract today. I signed the lease on a small Amsterdam apartment that afternoon. Everything was falling into place. You're working late again? Bella cornered me at Mario's one evening. Mom says you're being weird lately. I kept wiping tables. Just tired. Whatever. Did you see my text about my credit card bill? It's due tomorrow. Can't help this time, Bella. She grabbed my arm. What do you mean you can't help? You always help. Maybe it's time you helped yourself. Her face darkened. I'll tell Mom you're being difficult. Go ahead. I pulled away. I'm done being the family piggy bank. That night I packed my essential documents into a small, fireproof safe. Birth certificate, passport, new contract, bank statements proving years of their financial abuse. Everything else would stay behind. The morning of my departure arrived cloudy and cool. I'd booked an early flight, knowing they'd all be asleep. My small suitcase contained only what I needed: clothes, laptop, memories I couldn't bear to leave. The note I left was simple. I've supported this family for 6 years. I've paid for Bella's endless education, your mortgage, your cars, your lifestyle. I've sacrificed my dreams, my future, and my peace. Today, I choose myself. Don't try to find me. Don't expect any more money. You'll have to learn to stand on your own feet, just like you always told me to do. Eliza. I placed it on the kitchen island beside printed copies of every transfer I'd made to them over the years. The total made me sick, 187 432s. The taxi pulled up outside my apartment building. As I wheeled my suitcase toward it, my phone buzzed. Bella, hey, did you make the mortgage payment yet? Uni tuition is due this week. I turned off my phone and got into the taxi. Airport, please. Early flight? The driver asked. Early escape, I replied. He met my eyes in the rearview mirror. Sometimes running away is really running toward yourself. I watched my old life disappear through the rear window. 6 years of being the responsible one, the reliable one, the good daughter. 6 years of hearing family takes care of family while they bled me dry. The sky was brightening as we reached the airport. My new phone, the one they didn't have the number for, already had my Amsterdam apartment details, job contract, and freedom waiting. I checked in, passed security, and sat at my gate. In 6 hours, I'd be in Amsterdam. In 6 days, I'd start my new job. In 6 weeks, they'd realise I was never coming back. The boarding call came over the speakers. As I stood up, I caught my reflection in the window. I was smiling, really smiling, for the first time in years. Now, boarding flight KL642 to Amsterdam. I walked toward the gate, leaving behind everything except what mattered most, my future. Amsterdam greeted me with rain and freedom. My tiny apartment in the Jordan district became my sanctuary, especially when the voicemails started flooding in. "Eliza, this isn't funny anymore," Mum's voice shrill and demanding. "The mortgage is due. Where are you?" Delete. "How could you do this to your sister?" Another from Mum, 2 days later. "She's crying. Is that what you wanted?" Delete. "Tell me this isn't real." Dad, finally speaking up after a week. "Please come home." Delete. I threw myself into my new job at the environmental firm. The office overlooked a canal, and my colleagues actually asked for my opinion in meetings. It felt surreal. "You've got a real talent for this," Parker said, leaning against my desk one afternoon. He was the lead editor, British, with kind eyes and a habit of bringing coffee to everyone on deadline days. "The Norway proposal reads much better after your edits." "Thanks, it's nice to be appreciated for once." "For once?" He raised an eyebrow. "There's a story there." Before I could respond, my phone buzzed. Bella's face appeared on the screen for the 20th time that week. I declined the call. "Family stuff," I explained. "It's complicated." "Isn't it always?" Parker pulled up a chair. "Want to grab dinner and talk about it? I know a place with amazing stroopwafels." Over dinner, the whole story spilled out. The years of financial abuse, the manipulation, the sacrifices. Parker listened without judgment, only interrupting once. "Hold on, they took out credit cards in your name?" I nodded, pushing my food around. "Found that out recently. They'd been doing it for years." "That's fraud, Eliza. Straight up criminal fraud." My phone chimed with a new voicemail. "Mom again, but different this time. The bank is foreclosing on the house. How could you let this happen? We're your family." "They're moving into some apartment across town," I told Parker. "Bella had to leave university. Apparently she can't afford it without my money. Shocking, right? You don't sound sad about it." "I'm not. Is that terrible?" He shook his head. "Sounds like karma to me." Back home, I checked my email before bed. One from Avery, my old best friend, caught my eye. "I thought you should know. They're telling everyone you drained their accounts and ran off. They want to sue. Your mum's been at my house crying about how you stole their life savings. But Eliza, I saw the receipts you left. I know the truth. Stay strong." I closed my laptop and walked to my window. The canal lights reflected off the water, creating dancing patterns on my ceiling. My phone buzzed again. Bella had switched to texts. "Please, Eliza, I had to move back in with Mom and Dad. The apartment is horrible. I can't live like this." For the first time I replied, "Welcome to how I lived while supporting all of you." She responded instantly. "I'm your sister. You can't just abandon us." "Watch me." I blocked her number and turned back to the window. A couple walked by below, laughing, sharing an umbrella in the light rain. Normal people living normal lives, not trapped in cycles of manipulation and guilt. The next morning, Parker brought me coffee again. "You look tired," he said, setting the cup on my desk. "Everything okay?" "Just processing. Sometimes I feel guilty, then I remember everything they put me through, and the guilt turns to anger. You know what helps process emotions?" He grinned. "Writing about them." "What, like a diary?" "Like a story. Your story. People should hear it. Might help others in similar situations." I thought about all the years I'd stayed quiet, all the times I'd swallowed my words, along with my dreams. Maybe it was time to speak up. "I wouldn't even know where to start," I said. "Start with the truth. It's usually the most interesting part." That evening I opened a new document and began typing. "I spent 6 years being my family's ATM. This is how I escaped." My phone lit up with a notification, an email from my parents' lawyer. They were threatening to sue for theft of owed family obligations and emotional distress. I laughed out loud in my empty apartment. They wanted to talk about emotional distress. Fine. Let's talk about it in court, with evidence, witnesses, and those fraudulent credit card applications. I forwarded the email to Parker with a single question. Know any good lawyers in Amsterdam? His response came quickly. Several, but more importantly, I know how to make your story heard, ready to fight back. I looked at my reflection in the darkened window. The scared, submissive daughter was gone. In her place stood someone stronger, someone ready to tell the truth. All of it. Ready, I typed back. Where do we start? The credit report in my hands felt like a horror story. 5 credit cards, 2 personal loans, and a car lease, all in my name, all opened without my knowledge. This is extensive, Robbie, the bank investigator, said carefully. We were meeting via video call, his Toronto office a stark contrast to my Amsterdam apartment. The earliest application dates back to when you were 19. I never authorized any of this. My voice shook. How did they even... They had all your information, social security number, birth certificate, employment details. He shuffled through papers. And they lived at your listed address, made it easy to intercept mail. Parker sat beside me, taking notes. We'd been gathering evidence for weeks, building a case against my family's claims. There's more, Robbie continued. Your parents took out a second mortgage using documentation with your signature. The handwriting analysis confirms it's forged. My stomach lurched. How much? The total fraudulent debt in your name is just over $90,000. Parker grabbed my hand as I swayed in my chair. That's criminal, he said firmly. What are her options? File a police report, press charges. It's clear financial abuse. Robbie leaned closer to his camera. Miss, this goes beyond family drama. They systematically defrauded you. My phone buzzed. Bella using a new number. Sis, please, I'm really sorry about everything. Can we talk? I miss you. Delete. Block. I'll email you the complete documentation, Robbie said, including records showing they've been dependent on your income since 2017. The pattern is troubling. After the call, Parker made tea while I processed everything. You're not going back, are you? He asked, handing me a steaming mug. Never. I pulled up my email, finding another message from Avery. Your mum's telling people you stole their retirement fund, but I worked at the bank last summer, remember? I saw their accounts. They never had a retirement fund. Everything went to Bella's shopping and your dad's golf membership. They're painting you as the villain, Parker observed, reading over my shoulder. Let them try. I opened my laptop. I have proof. We spent the evening organising documents, bank statements, forged applications, transfer records. Everything pointing to years of systematic exploitation. Look at this, Parker said, pointing to a series of transfers. They took out a loan in your name the same day Bella posted about her Ibiza trip. And here, I pulled up another statement, Dad's golf club membership renewed using my credit card while I was eating ramen for dinner every night. My phone lit up, a number I didn't recognise. Hello? Eliza? A familiar voice. It's Robbie again. Sorry to call so late, but something came up. Those credit cards in your name. They're still being used. What? But I'm in Amsterdam. Exactly. Just had charges posted from a boutique in Toronto. Looks like Bella's still shopping with your credit. I ended the call and immediately contacted the credit card companies. One by one, I reported the cards as fraudulent, listening to Bella's texts ping in the background. How could you cancel the cards? I needed those. Mom and Dad can't pay their bills now. This is all your fault. You're destroying this family. Parker read the messages over my shoulder. They really don't get it, do they? They never did. I blocked Bella's newest number. They thought I was an endless resource, their personal bank account. Well, the bank's closed, he said, squeezing my shoulder, and Justice is about to make a withdrawal. A new email popped up, the subpoena. My parents were actually going through with the lawsuit, claiming I owed them family support payments and compensation for abandonment. Parker read it and laughed. They really want to do this in court, with all this evidence against them? They think I'll cave, that I'll come running back, apologising. I forwarded the subpoena to the lawyer Parker had recommended. They don't know me anymore. No, he agreed, they don't, but I do, and I know you're going to win this. I looked at my reflection in the window again, remembering that scared girl who used to check her bank account every morning with dread. She was gone. In her place sat someone stronger, someone ready to fight back. You know what the worst part is? I said, closing my laptop. They'll never admit what they did. They'll never see how wrong it was. Maybe not, Parker replied, but everyone else will. And that's what scares them. My phone buzzed one last time. Mom, using Dad's phone. You ungrateful child. After everything we did for you, you'll regret this. We're family. I typed back 3 words before blocking the number. See you caught. The Amsterdam rain tapped against my window, a gentle reminder that I was far from their reach. They wanted a war? Fine. I had truth on my side and an arsenal of their own lies to use against them. Your countersuit has been filed, my lawyer Maria announced over video call. The evidence is overwhelming. Financial abuse, identity theft, fraud. They won't know what hit them. I nodded, watching my story explode across social media. Someone had leaked the court documents and now Handscharm Justice for Eliza was trending. Have you seen Bella's latest post? Parker asked, sliding his phone across my desk. There she was, mascara-streaked face filling the screen. My sister abandoned us. She left us homeless and broke. Please, if anyone knows where she is. The comments weren't what she expected. Girl, you spent 6 years in college on her dime. Those designer bags in your photos, while your sister worked 3 jobs? My sister did this to me too. Team Eliza all the way. My work phone rang, another journalist requesting an interview. I'd lost count after the 20th call. Your parents' lawyer reached out, Maria said. They want to settle privately. No, the word came out firm, certain. They wanted this public. Let's give them public. My phone chimed with a text from an unknown number. Eliza, it's Aunt Natasha, your mother's sister. We haven't spoken in years, but I saw the news. I remembered her vaguely, Mum's younger sister who'd been labelled the family disappointment for refusing to fund Mum's shopping habits. I believe you. Her next text read, Penny did the same to me 20 years ago, drained my accounts, took loans in my name. I've been waiting for someone to finally expose them. Parker read the messages and whistled. Looks like you're not their first victim. But I'll be their last, I replied, forwarding Natasha's texts to Maria. A notification popped up. Bella had posted again, this time a tearful video. I know I made mistakes, but she's my sister. She needs to come home and fix this. The video cut to her showing her empty fridge, her tiny shared apartment, the bus pass she now had to use instead of her car. Welcome to my old life, I muttered. Comments flooded in. Girl, get a job. Maybe sell some of those designer bags. Actions have consequences. Then Bella dropped the bomb. And I haven't even been in university for months. I dropped out in January. Parker nearly choked on his coffee. January. But she kept taking tuition money through March. Screenshot that, Maria instructed over our still open call. That's admission of fraud. My phone buzzed again, Mom using another new number. Please, we're losing everything. You were never meant to find out about the credit cards. We can fix this privately. I forwarded the message to Maria without responding. Your mother just incriminated herself, Maria said. Keep collecting these. They're digging their own grave. A new email arrived from Robbie. Found more evidence. Your father diverted your childhood support payments from your grandparents' trust. The money was supposed to be for your education. He spent it on golf memberships instead. They're panicking, Parker observed as my phone lit up with more messages. They never expected you to fight back. The court date is set for next month, Maria announced. Are you ready to face them? I looked at my reflection in my office window, at the Amsterdam Canal below, at the life I'd built from the ashes of their exploitation. More than ready. That evening I visited my old neighbourhood via Google Street View. My parents' foreclosed house stood empty, a for sale sign in the yard. The memories washed over me, every extra shift, every skipped meal, every sacrificed dream that went into paying for that house. You okay? Parker asked, bringing me tea. They never saw me as a daughter, I said. I was their investment, their safety net, their ATM, nothing more. My laptop chimed with a news alert. Bella had given an interview to a local station playing the victim card hard. My sister is dangerous. She planned this for months. The interviewer cut her off. But these bank records show you spent her money on vacations while she worked multiple jobs. Can you explain that? The camera caught Bella's face falling as she realised the narrative was slipping away from her. That's not... She was supposed to help family. By bankrupting herself, Bella stormed off camera. The damage was done. Your story's inspiring people, Parker said, showing me messages flooding in from others sharing similar experiences. You're giving them courage to break free too. My phone lit up one last time. Mom again. We're coming to Amsterdam. This has to stop. You're destroying our family. I blocked the number and turned to Parker. No, Mom. You destroyed this family years ago. I'm just making sure everyone knows it. The Amsterdam sunset painted my office in gold. Tomorrow would bring more battles, more revelations, more attempts to make me cave. But I wasn't that scared little girl anymore. I was finally free. And freedom, once tasted, becomes impossible to surrender. The Toronto courthouse loomed before me, its stone steps crowded with reporters. Parker squeezed my hand as we pushed through the crowd. Miss, is it true your sister's modelling career ended because of you? Did you really steal your parents' retirement? Any comment on your father's bankruptcy filing? Maria met us inside, her heels clicking against marble floors. Your father filed for bankruptcy this morning. He's not here. Coward, Parker muttered. Your mother and sister are in the conference room with their lawyer, Maria continued. They're requesting one last private meeting before the hearing. I straightened my blazer. Let's get this over with. Mom looked smaller somehow, her designer clothes replaced by department store clearance. Bella sat beside her, phone conspicuously absent, probably sold to pay bills. Eliza, Mom started, voice trembling, please drop this lawsuit. We can work something out. Like you worked out those credit cards in my name. Bella leaned forward. We're living in a dump. Mom had to get a job at a grocery store. A grocery store, Eliza. I worked 3 jobs to support your shopping habit, I replied. How's that feel? That was different, Bella snapped. I had potential. I was going to be somebody. And what was I supposed to be? Your personal bank? Mum's lawyer cleared his throat. We're prepared to offer a settlement. Your parents will acknowledge the loans. Fraud, Maria corrected. Let's call it what it is. And agree to a payment plan. I laughed. With what money? Dad's bankrupt, Mum's working minimum wage, and Bella's... I looked at my sister. What are you doing these days? She flushed. I'm between opportunities. They've lost everything, their lawyer continued. Surely that's punishment enough. Lost everything. I pulled out my phone, reading from my notes. Dad diverted my trust fund to his golf club. Mum took out 5 credit cards in my name. Bella kept taking tuition money months after dropping out. You stole my future piece by piece, year after year. We're family, Mum cried. Everything we did was for this family. No, I stood up. Everything you did was for yourselves. I'm done protecting you from the consequences. Back in the courthouse hallway, reporters swarmed again. This time, I stopped. Yes, my sister's modelling career ended because she had to get a real job like everyone else. No, I didn't steal their retirement. They never saved for retirement because they were spending my money. And my father's bankruptcy, that's what happens when your ATM grows a spine. The hearing itself was almost anticlimactic. Evidence mounted, forged signatures, fraudulent applications, years of financial abuse documented in meticulous detail. And this trust fund, the judge peered at the documents. Your grandparents left this specifically for your education? Yes, Your Honour, I never saw a penny of it. Because your father diverted it to his golf membership and your sister's spring break trips, the judge finished, looking disgusted. Mrs. Townsend, do you have anything to say in your defence? Mum stood, tears streaming. We only wanted the best for our daughters. Bella needed opportunities. And what about Eliza's opportunities? The judge interrupted. The ones you stole. Bella jumped up. This isn't fair. She abandoned us. We're living in poverty because of her. No, the judge said firmly. You're living in reality because of her. The court finds in favour of the plaintiff. The gavel struck. My parents were ordered to pay restitution, their fraud officially recorded. Bella screamed something about family betrayal. Mum collapsed in tears. Outside, Aunt Natasha waited on the courthouse steps. Your mother's living with me now, she said. Don't worry, she's earning her keep. Cleaning houses just like she made me do when she drained my accounts. And Bella? Working retail, can't keep a job more than a few weeks. Keeps complaining about how unfair it is to work for minimum wage. Parker wrapped an arm around my shoulders as we watched my family leave through a side door, dodging reporters. How does it feel? He asked, like waking up from a nightmare. My phone buzzed, a message from Robbie. Justice served. Your credit's been cleared of their fraud. You're free. Free. Such a simple word for such a complicated feeling. That night, back in my hotel room, I found an envelope slipped under my door. Inside was a photo, me at 12, holding my writing competition trophy. On the back, in Bella's handwriting, I should have been better. I struck a match and watched the photo curl into ash in the hotel sink. Some people say blood is thicker than water, but they forget the full phrase, the blood of the covenant is thicker than the water of the womb. I chose my own covenant. I chose freedom. My phone lit up with a text from Parker. Ready to go home, home, to Amsterdam. To my life, to my future. Ready, I replied, and meant it with every fibre of my being. Amsterdam welcomed me back with open arms and endless possibilities. The court victory changed something in me, like a weight I'd carried so long I'd forgotten it wasn't part of my body. Your story's gone viral, Parker announced, dropping a coffee on my desk. Look at these numbers. The article about my case had millions of shares. The comments section overflowed with similar stories. My parents did this to me too. Reading this gave me courage to check my credit. Just found out my sister took loans in my name. Filing charges tomorrow. Thank you for showing us it's okay to say no to toxic family. You should write about it, Parker suggested. The full story, not just the court details. Before I could respond, my phone rang. Aunt Natasha, your mother's making progress, she said. 3 months of cleaning houses has given her some perspective. She actually apologised to me yesterday. And Bella lost another job. She's working at a fast food place now. Keeps saying it's beneath her. I turned to my computer and opened a blank document. The cursor blinked, waiting. I'm thinking of writing about everything, I told Natasha. Good. People need to hear it. Oh, and your father surfaced. My fingers froze over the keyboard. Where? Florida. Working as a golf caddy, if you can believe it. Karma's got a sense of humour. After hanging up, I started typing. This is a story about financial abuse, family manipulation, and finding freedom. It's my story, Parker read over my shoulder. Perfect opening. The words flowed like a river breaking through a dam. Every manipulation, every stolen dream, every midnight shift that funded their luxuries, it all poured onto the page. My phone buzzed with a text from Bella. I read the court transcript. I never realized... I'm sorry. For the first time in months, I replied, sorry doesn't pay back what you took. I know, I'm in therapy now, learning about narcissistic family dynamics. Mum really messed us both up, didn't she? I showed the messages to Parker. Think she's genuine? Does it matter? He was right. Their redemption wasn't my responsibility anymore. The environmental firm promoted me to senior editor. My own office, my own team, my own projects. During my acceptance speech, I said something that later went viral. Success is the best revenge, but healing is the best victory. My article was published in a major online magazine. Within hours, it crashed their website from traffic. Television shows wanted interviews. Publishers called about book deals. You've started a movement, Parker said over dinner at our favourite cafe. People are waking up to financial abuse in families. I just told the truth. Sometimes that's all it takes. My phone lit up. A message from Robbie. Your father's trying to access your old accounts again. Don't worry, we've blocked him. But thought you should know. Some things never change, but I had. That evening I received an unexpected email from Mom's therapist, with Mom's permission. Your mother would like to make amends, but understands if you're not ready. She's been diagnosed with narcissistic personality disorder and is doing intensive therapy. She asked me to share this letter. I closed the email without reading the letter. Maybe someday I'd be ready, but not yet. Parker found me on my balcony, watching the canal boats drift by. You okay? Better than okay? I showed him my laptop screen. I'm writing a guide for others in similar situations. Legal advice, escape plans, healing strategies. Always the helper, he smiled, but this time on your own terms. A notification popped up. Another message from Bella. I got a real job, entry-level office work. It's hard, but I think I finally understand what you went through all those years. Progress, Parker observed. Maybe, but I'm not holding my breath. My phone rang, Maria with updates. The restitution payments are coming in. Your mother's actually ahead of schedule. Your father, however, still hiding in Florida. Not anymore. He's trying to contest the judgment, claims he was coerced. I laughed. Let him try. After the call, I returned to my writing. The words came easily now. Forgiveness is optional. Healing is essential. Sometimes the strongest family bonds are the ones we break. Parker brought me tea, his presence a quiet comfort. What's next? Living, I replied. Just living. Below, tourists snapped photos of the sunset, painting the canals gold. A year ago, I was checking my bank account with dread, calculating how much my family would take. Now, I checked it with pride, watching my savings grow. I wasn't the good daughter anymore. I was something better. I was free. My story wasn't over, but the worst chapters were behind me. Ahead lay blank pages waiting to be filled with my own choices, my own dreams, my own life. And that was worth every battle it took to get here. The book launch party buzzed with energy. Financial freedom from family fraud sat prominently displayed, my name bold on the cover. Parker squeezed my hand as I prepared to address the crowd. Ready? He whispered. Born ready. The room fell silent as I stepped up to the podium. Faces looked back at me. Some I recognized from support groups, others holding copies of their own stories published on my blog platform. When I first shared my story online, I began, I thought I was alone. I wasn't. Financial abuse in families thrives in silence. Today we're breaking that silence. My phone vibrated in my pocket. Aunt Natasha's update. Your mother finished her therapy program. She's working full-time now, paying her own bills. Never thought I'd see the day. The audience applauded as I introduced our guest speaker, a forensic accountant who'd helped countless victims recover from family fraud. As she spoke, another message came through, this time from Bella. Saw your book announcement. Proud of you. I'm 1 year sober now, working steady. The therapy helps. Not asking for forgiveness, just wanted you to know. I slipped the phone back into my pocket. Their healing wasn't my responsibility, but their progress was a footnote worth noting. Miss Eliza, a young woman approached after the speeches. Your story saved my life. I found out my parents had taken out student loans in my name. Thanks to your guide, I knew exactly what to do. More people shared similar stories. Each one reinforced what Parker had told me months ago. This was bigger than my family's drama. It had become a movement. The publisher wants a second book, Parker mentioned as we walked home along the canal. Focus on recovery and rebuilding after financial abuse. Already outlining it, I smiled. But first we have that environmental conference in Norway next week. About that? He stopped walking. What if we extended the trip, made it personal? I turned to face him. Parker, I'm not proposing, he laughed. Yet, just suggesting we take time to celebrate how far you've come. You're not just surviving anymore, Eliza. You're thriving. My phone buzzed, an email from Dad's new lawyer. Your father wishes to make amends. Delete. Some bridges should stay burned. Back home, I opened my laptop to find a message from Robbie. Thought you'd want to know. Your father tried opening a new credit card in your name again. We caught it immediately. Old habits die hard. Speaking of habits, Parker called from the kitchen, your sister's latest Instagram post is interesting. I checked. Bella at her office desk, caption reading, 1 year at the same job. Never thought I'd say this, but stability feels good. Thanks, sis, for the wake-up call. No manipulation, no guilt trips, no asking for money. Progress comes in small steps. My blog notification pinged. Another family fraud survivor sharing their story. The community we'd built was helping people escape, heal, and rebuild. Your next speaking engagement is confirmed, Parker said, reviewing our calendar. Stockholm next month. From family ATM to international speaker, I mused. Life's funny sometimes. A final message popped up, Mum, through her therapist's office. I'm learning about boundaries. I respect that you don't want contact. I'm sorry for everything. The money isn't important anymore. I just hope you're happy. For the first time, her words didn't trigger guilt or anger. They were just words carrying no power over me. The Amsterdam evening settled around us, strings of canal lights reflecting in the water. Parker worked on dinner while I finished the introduction to my second book. Some inherit wealth, some inherit trauma. I turned mine into freedom. This isn't just my story anymore. It's a guide for anyone ready to break free from financial abuse and family exploitation. Your life belongs to you. Your money belongs to you. Your future belongs to you. The hardest part isn't leaving. It's believing you deserve better. Trust me, you do. Perfect, Parker said, reading over my shoulder. Just like this pasta I made. Subtle hint for dinner. Maybe, he grinned. Coming? I looked at my reflection in the window. Confident, successful, free. The scared girl who used to check her bank account hourly was gone. The woman who replaced her was stronger than anyone in her family had ever imagined. You know what the best revenge is? I asked, joining Parker at our dinner table. Success. No, I smiled. Peace. Outside, Amsterdam continued its eternal dance of lights on water, of boats gliding past, of lives being lived on their own terms. My terms. Some say you can't choose your family, but you can choose your peace, your path, your power. I chose all three, and I never looked back.